Oh, it already looks cool. Hello everybody, it is Saturday evening at like 6 o'clock. We just finished our first group of door frames. We painted our door frames black and I wasn't sure how it was going to look. Greg and I really went back and forth about this for a while and we finally were like, let's just do it, let's see what it looks like. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. They really pop against the white paint. And of course we have like black furniture, black cabinets. We got black hardware for the doors, so it looks really good, it matches. But we did that for probably like 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. I'm like, my body's tired and I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna make us some dinner, and then tomorrow, after our doors are totally dry and after the frames are totally dry, we're gonna put all of the black hardware on, like the really nice new door handles, and we got new hinges and everything. So we'll do that tomorrow. We'll put all of the doors up and then we'll really be able to see what, what it looks like with fresh paint, with fresh hardware, and I'm very excited about it. So that's what we were up to today. I made some homemade oat milk this morning, which I'm very excited about. And then with the leftover oats, I made oatmeal cookies, like healthy oatmeal cookies. There's only one left. We ate all of the other ones already. So I didn't add much sugar to these at all. I added one tablespoon of sugar was it. So they're very, very, very lightly sweet, but they're really good. They have like coconut and stuff in them. So I'm gonna go ahead and make dinner, and then we're probably just gonna watch a show tonight and relax, and then finish up our doors tomorrow. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is a beautiful summer day. We're having a beautiful weekend and I'm gonna take you along because I have some cool plans for the weekend. This morning we already did all of like the horse gear, fly gear stuff for the horses. I want to do a separate video where I show you kind of like their morning routine and everything we do for them in the summer when it's really hot. It can get a little bit muggy here. There's a lot of flies. So I hope to do that video soon and just show you their like routine, because it can take a while to get them prepped for the day. But they are out in the pasture right now. I just harrowed their main, like, it's not a dry lot because there's grass out there, but their main like paddock area. So I just harrowed. Now we're gonna go outside. We're gonna clean their water trough, fill that with fresh, cool, filtered water. And then I am going to build a compost bin pile today. I have wanted to compost for so many years, like probably the past 6 years. I've really been interested in learning how to compost, and now that I have property and I'm learning how to garden, it is the perfect time. So Greg and I went yesterday and we picked up some pallets, heat treated pallets. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So we just finished at this scrap pile. There's a bunch of wood over here, a bunch of scrap wood here, and we were able to pick up 3 pallets, heat treated pallets, and I'm going to attempt to make a compost bin out of them. Today I'm going to put together just one 3-sided bin with those pallets. I'm gonna start small. Some people will start with 2 or 3 so that they have a bit more room. Because I'm a total beginner, I think it would be good for me to just start with 1 and get that figured out and get that like under control, and then I can add to it. It would be easy to pick up a few more pallets. There are a lot of pallets around here. We use pallets for our horse hay, stuff like that. It would be easy to add more pallets later on if I want to expand my composting system. So let's go ahead, head outside. We need to do the horse water first. That is the most important thing on the to-do list. And then we will build a beginner compost bin pile thing. Let's go. Okay, so I just finished scrubbing the water tank. I hooked up the filter. We have really hard water here, so we do use a water softener, but we like to do a filter for the horses. So that's what you see me hook up, that white thing. It's just like an additional sediment filter for them. So it takes a while to run through those 2 filters. So this will probably take at least half hour to fill up. I did a little bit of raking because we've been getting a ton of rain. Like, we had a crazy storm and it flooded like a significant area around the barn. So we put down hay in front of the water trough so that the horses wouldn't have to stand in water to drink. But now that it has dried out a little bit, I needed to clean that hay out, or else it'll just continue being wet and moist under the surface. So I cleaned some of that out. I hit it with the harrow a few times today, so that was really helpful. Now I'm drinking some water. It is, I want to say it's like 82 today. Let me look real quick. I don't get very good service out here at the barn. There we go. It's 81 right now, and this is like the perfect heat summer day for me. I hate the heat. I hate the heat. When we used to live in Denver and we would get like 95-degree days, I would be in such a bad mood because I am not a heat person. So 81 here right now. We're at like 82 to 8,400 feet in elevation. But yeah, so now I'm going to clean the water filter. So not only do we actually use a sediment filter for our horse's water trough, but we have a filter that sits in the tank that circulates everything, and it has a filter bag so it catches dirt, hay, anything that's kind of nasty in there, and it circulates the water. Because if you just have standing water for your horses, like your trough is just standing, it can build up a lot of nasty stuff in there. Like the place where Ty was before we bought this property and moved him here, there was a significant problem with mosquito larvae. Like there would be mosquito larvae just like swimming in his water trough all the time, which I think is absolutely disgusting. So we use this water filter. The water is constantly recirculating, so it doesn't, like the mosquitoes, I believe, can't lay their eggs in it because they need still stagnant water for that. So if you have power where your water trough is, which like if you're in a cold environment like we are, we have to have power in the winter to have a heater in the trough so that it doesn't freeze. And when our power went out for like almost 24 hours this past winter, we were up every 2 hours in the middle of the night breaking ice out of the trough because that's how quickly it would freeze. But if you do have power near your water trough, you might consider getting a little filter and then putting a filter bag on it so that it recirculates the water and it keeps it much healthier for your horse or for your horses. So I am going to head back out into the heat and clean that filter. Hello everybody, good morning. It is Sunday. I did not get around to building my pallet compost yesterday. We're gonna do it today. But first we are headed to Tractor Supply. We need to pick up some horse supplies, namely something called Magic Cushion for Ty for his feet. It's a hoof pack. He has very, very thin soles, and the farrier was out 2 weeks ago, and the farrier took him way too short. He's been severely lame since then. He even has frog bruising, and we got him boots, therapy boots, which have made a huge difference for him. But in addition to the therapy boots, we want to get a hoof pack as well. It's an all-natural hoof pack. It's supposed to reduce inflammation, reduce pain, help speed up healing, stuff like that. So we're gonna go to Tractor Supply. We're gonna pick that up. Hello everybody, so it is Sunday evening now. It is 4:45 and the wind is really kicking up all of a sudden. I just came back outside to put my compost bin together. So it was quite warm today. I told you yesterday that it was like 81. Today was 84. For us here, that feels very, very hot, and our home doesn't have AC. Most of the houses in this area do not have AC. We're cold the majority of the year at like 8,200, 8,400 feet in elevation. But it was quite warm today. I got burned pretty bad on my back yesterday when I was wearing those overalls. So Greg has been putting aloe on my back, and I wanted to not be working in the sun so much today. I was really dehydrated. So we washed Gypsy, we gave her a bath, but then it was really like the hottest part of the day. So I went inside and I cleaned for a couple hours. The clouds have moved in and it looks like it might want to rain. It's a little bit windy, it's kind of thundering. And as long as we don't get rained on and like rained out with the camera, I think it's a really good time to put together my compost bin. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I am not a pro composter, that's for sure. I've never done this in my life. I'm a total beginner. But what I have learned so far and what I'm going to be doing is using pallets. I think I already explained this. I got 3 pallets. I picked these up at a place that was literally like 10 minutes down the road from us. They had like an overwhelming pile of pallets that they didn't know what to do with. So if you are trying to pick up pallets instead of buying them off of somebody, you can always check like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace for pallets. There's some thunder. But the really important thing that I've learned about pallets, and I actually learned this last year when we were picking up pallets to put our hay bales on, because hay needs to be preferably up and off the ground with airflow so that you don't have mold problems. What I learned was that pallets that cross the border, some of them are treated with chemicals. I think that's like to kill bugs so that they don't cross in. I don't know that for sure. That's just what I've heard and what I've like read in blog posts. But I always knew that I didn't want any pallets that had been chemically treated. We try to use as few chemicals as possible. Anything that we pick up, we try to use like the most natural thing we possibly can. This is even a good example of what we picked up today. We gave Gypsy a bath today, and this is shampoo and conditioner, like body wash for horses. Some of these are like straight chemical, but this has purified water, coconut-based cleansers, aloe vera, vitamin E, and conditioners. So very, very biodegradable, cruelty-free, stuff like that. Like we are all about that, of course. So definitely do not want any chemicals on my pallets, especially for composting, because if I have compost that's curing in there and it's touching that pallet that's been cured with chemicals, then those chemicals could leach into my compost, and then when I put those on something that I am trying to grow, it could leach into my plants. So what I learned to look for is a stamp on the pallet that's an HT, which means heat treated, rather than being like chemically treated. I think one of the other stamps is MB. I want to say that means methyl bromide. MB, if you find a pallet that's stamped with an MB, that does mean methyl bromide. That's toxic. Definitely do not want to use that. And it's literally just started raining. That was a really long intro to me building my pallets, and now it has just started raining outside. But it might not last long, so. And now it's thundering and raining, and oh my gosh, the rain is quite cold. So I'm gonna head back inside now that we've done this whole intro to my pallet talk. And when the rain stops, we'll come back out and put my bin together. Do you hear that? It's so loud in here. So yeah, let's head back inside and see if the rain stops in a bit.
survive. When time's been bad, you put smiles on everyone. I think of you and of all I should have done.
Okay, so I wanted to give you guys an update. I finally built my compost bin slash pile. I've literally wanted to build a compost bin for like 5 years, and I finally did it on our property. It doesn't look super pretty. I know that compost piles aren't really supposed to be pretty, but we went ahead and we loaded some old hay, like that's been sitting out for like a year, so it's really yellow and just dried. We loaded some of that in there, put a bunch of green on top, put our scraps from the last like week on top, and then a bit more hay, hosed it down. I'm a beginner composter, so I imagine I'm going to learn a lot throughout this process, but I'm so excited that I finally did it. I'd say the hardest part was, one, just figuring out like where to get pallets, like heat treated pallets, and then two was figuring out where to put it on our property. Even though we live in the mountains, we are in a valley, so the neighbors around us have a lot of trees, but we don't, because it's like the tree line ends and then we're in a valley, so we can see pines all around us, we can smell pines all around us, but we don't really have any. We only have one that was planted here by the previous owner, so there wasn't really an easy way to hide the compost pile, like hide it in the trees or anything like that. So I had to choose a place, because I knew it was going to be out in the open, because we mostly have pasture land and like a lot of open space. So I chose a place that's kind of in a corner, you know, away from the horse fencing so they can't reach over and eat it, a little ways away from the house, but close enough that I can walk down to it from the kitchen. So I got that set up. I'm pretty excited about it, and I guess I will just keep you guys kind of updated on my compost pile and how it goes, because I think there's going to be a lot to learn, but I'm hoping that by next spring I will have some compost that I can use in my new garden, and I will give you a garden update as well, not in this video, in maybe the next video or the one after that, because my garden isn't going very well, and yeah, I will talk about it because I've been very frustrated. So that's probably going to be it for this video. I have a ton of footage, so we'll see what I end up putting in this one. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any requests for content, you can always put those in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!